Can everyone hear me? Good? We're good? Wonderful. How's everyone doing? Good? I like that passion. I like that energy. Pun intended, because energy. Okay, so hopefully everyone's doing good. And as we know, growing up in Houston, energy is part of our lives. Maybe our parents work in the industry, maybe we work in the industry, loved ones. Regardless, somehow it's part of our lives. And I know it's part of mine. I know growing up with my dad working in the industry, owning a few gas stations, working at a refinery, that I can make the claim that there was as much blood running through my veins as there was, as much oil running through my veins as there was blood. Sorry, there. So it was that admiration for energy, that zest for energy, that zest for oil and gas, which really drove me towards researching and learning about all this during my collegiate life. And a lot of that admiration really isn't unwarranted. Houston has seen tremendous job growth, revenue growth, development when it comes to because of the oil and gas industry, and that's actually driven us to become the energy capital of the world. And that made me come up with some assumptions early on. So when I entered college, I used to think that renewables were a joke. I didn't think that a solar panel on top of my house or a wind turbine out in the middle of Texas would really make a difference. I thought that oil and gas was the way to go. So I came into college and I joined this new minor for energy and sustainability, thinking that it would be my pathway to oil and gas. But little did I know that it was actually my pathway to learning more about myself. So fast forward a little bit, and I'm sitting in Energy 3310, learning about wind and solar, still not motivated by anything, and absolutely, I guess, the biggest opponent when it comes to renewables. 3 months after that, I'm working for a renewables company here in Houston. So tides kind of turned a bit. I really didn't know how I ended up there, but I'm glad I did because it helped change my mind on what surrounds us when it comes to energy. Energy is not really a discussed topic. People don't jump to the gun to really talk about it. People aren't passionate to talk about it. And the presidential trail really hasn't talked about it either. We face severe energy issues, and if we really want to tackle them and tackle them seriously, then we have to have an open discussion about them. Now, to be fair, no topic can really compete with building a wall on our southern border, but we at least have to try somewhat. So that's where I come in. And in my research, I started looking at how we can get to a more sustainable future over the next 50 years. So to do that, and I don't know why this isn't working. Okay, I guess we're not using slides. But I'm actually going to read it. Wow, let me check this out. Just click.
I've got a clicker. Does it work?
It looks like technology is just as important as energy. Something happened. Go on my next slide. Wonderful. Can we not go through all of them? Then let's come forward. Okay, let's go backwards. Let's go forward. Let's just
pay no attention to what's on the screen.
I have colorful people.
So while we work on getting this fixed up, I'm going to do my job as MC and read you a couple jokes from Conan O'Brien while they fix this out. Alaska Air has announced that it's purchasing Virgin Airlines for $2.6 billion. It's the most money ever spent on Virgin since my parents bought me a car after my high school graduation. I don't think that was the most appropriate, but hey, desperate times. Let me pull up some more jokes as it loads. Did anybody see Batman versus Superman?
What is that?
What is Batman, or what is Superman, or what is Versus?
What is that movie about?
Superhero Batman versus superhero Superman. I am with it. No, I haven't seen it either. Apparently most of America has.
No, I mean, what's the plot? Not
What's the plot? I mean, I think
You should tell us the plot. No,
it's an alien versus a human. And for some, I think, spoiler alert, Batman wins. Is that true? I mean, you guys aren't going to watch it anyway, so come on.
You said it was Batman versus Superman.
Yes, it's true.
Batman won.
Okay.
And it works, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
works.
Future
Okay.
presidents.
So minor technical problems, but we got it all sorted out. So where was I? Yeah, so looking at where our energy system can be in 50 years. So we look at 2016 and 2026, and it's a big jump up when it comes to sustainability, and we can't just do it immediately. Energy changes and bringing about renewables don't happen overnight. So we need to come up with a solution, which what I spent researching and what I call the American energy transition, which is a slow and gradual pace up to more sustainability, something which is manageable and targeted so that we get the results we want, hopefully leading to a better world for all of us. Now, in order to do that, we must ask ourselves two questions. One, what we want to use for our energy sources, or what we use right now for our energy sources, and also how we use those. You see, Albert Einstein told us that if we truly want to fix the problem, then we have to not use the same thinking that we used when we made it. We have to come up with a solution that's different. And the thing which we've been avoiding so far is looking at ourselves, because we can make positive changes also. But we'll get on to ourselves later. Let's first talk about the facts. So what we use for our energy sources. Currently, if the world was divided up into 100 people based off of what energy usage we use, then we'd have 18 of us represented as coal, we'd have 36 of us be oil, 8 renewables, 27 natural gas, another 8 nuclear, and 3 others, or what I like to call the tag-alongs. So what do you see here? A lot of you guys may see that number for oil and coal and gas and see some smokestacks one day polluting an entire city, not being able to see this blue sky. It's pretty daunting. But I'll tell you what I see in all of this. I see potential. Now, granted, renewables are only at 8%, but I see that number growing drastically in the future. Maybe not as drastic as some of us want it to be, but I still see it growing. I see natural gas, and I don't see that as something which we should get rid of. I see it as something which we can use for a positive impact in the future. So where can we be now in the future? Let's look at this exact same thing, fast forward 50 years. 2066. A little bit of changes, but still important. Coal, cut by 50% down to 9%. Oil, cut by 33% and down to 24%. Renewables up more than 100% at 18%. Natural gas drastically increased also at 36%. Nuclear only a little nudge up. And the tag-alongs are still doing what they do best, just tagging along for the ride. So what does this all mean? Why is this something which I think is good? Why are we still using coal? Why are we on oil? Why are we on natural gas? Why are renewables so low? And why is nuclear still even around if it only went up 1 point? And there's a lot which can go there. Right now, our entire system of transportation is dependent on oil. Our entire national infrastructure is based on oil, so it takes a little more than 50 years to completely get rid of it. I think that oil is something which will slowly decrease, but we can't do it all overnight. Natural gas, that's the biggest increase because it cuts out of coal's share. Now for those of you who don't know, coal is the heaviest polluter when it comes to CO2 emissions. Oil is second and natural gas is third. Natural gas is actually much cleaner when it comes to those kind of things for electricity production, and it also eats out a little bit of oil's transportation usage with the new CNG, or compressed natural gas, which we can use in our vehicles. Nuclear, on the other hand, is up just 1%, mainly because of our fear as Americans when it comes to nuclear. Yes, we can model our system off of France, yes, we can do other things, but we still have this fear in us on the unknown of nuclear. What can happen if something happens to one of those plants? So it only goes up slightly. Renewables, though, see a great increase. And I worked for a wind turbine company, and I saw just how efficient the turbines got while I was there for a year. So that same efficiency will still carry on. Cost will decrease, and the consumer will want it more. So what does this mean for each and every single one of those portions of the energy mix? So we look at individual characters, and let's say that this is a couple or a family living on your street. So the Coles, the people in blue. Mr. and Mrs. Cole, they're pretty unhappy, okay? They're not gonna have as much growth as they wanted. They're gonna have less power plants. They're gonna have more emission regulations, cap and trade, carbon capture and storage, things like that, which really restrain their ability to grow and essentially lead to their demise. So I guess Santa will have more coal to give out to some kids. Second, we look at the natural gases. Mr. and Mrs. Natural Gas, they're pretty happy. Okay, so they have more power plants which are converted over from coal. They have cleaner emissions due to the increasing technology. And so all of that really allows them to be extremely happy. They have a new system built for infrastructure when it comes to transportation usage, and we can use it in a cleaner, more efficient, and more abundant manner because it's available to us. The oils, well, they're they're kind of that sideways face. So the oils, they see their demise in the future. They see that it's slowly going down, but they're still there. 24% is a big amount, an amount which we can't get rid of and an amount which won't go away because they still have a market share. So the reason that we still have them around, though, is because there's some improved efficiency there. Gas mileage is getting better on cars, transportation is getting more efficient, cities are becoming more centralized to a point where oil is no longer clogging up our system. But let's take a look on the other side of the spectrum, away from fossil fuels. The nuclears, they're happy, like I said. Even though it's just 1% up for them, they're pretty happy that they're not dead, they're not gone. Through a lot of natural occurrences which happen, or a lot of disasters which happen around the world, we're still happy that nuclear is still around, and they are just ecstatic about that. Because most nuclear plants are about as old as your grandparents or parents are. So it's a pretty good thing that they're still around, I guess. Mr. and Mrs. Renewable, they are probably the happiest of them all. Okay, they have more efficiencies, more prevalence in the market, and they are content with the progression that they have. So though it's just 18% of the market share, they can see themselves lined up to take the future by the horns and make an impact. And last we have the others, which are just, who really cares about that? So that's the first part of everything. The second thing which we need to do is ask ourselves, what can we do ourselves when it comes to energy? How can we make everything more efficient? How can we get to a more sustainable future? And the first thing is understanding what sustainability is. Now, I think that sustainability right now means using what we need right now for ourselves, but leaving enough for future to use it also. But that definition is changing. In the future, sustainability can mean something else. To use sustainability can mean something else. So it's a constantly evolving definition which we have to adapt for. So I'm not here, and I don't think I can influence policy. Now, though I want to be president one day, I know that right now I can't change the way our nation goes, the way our entire world goes. But what I think I can do, what I hope I can do, is to put this idea in your guys' mind on what you can do. And that is just be open to something new. I know in 2014, when I was sitting in SEMO Hall learning about energy and sustainability, I did not think renewables were the future. When I applied for a job, it was for that company's energy department. So I thought I was going into oil and gas. When I walked into the interview room, I saw wind turbine posters and thought to myself, what the hell am I doing here? When I got the job offer, I contemplated heavily being unemployed for a summer, making $0, than being in that environment. But then something made me say that no, I'm going to challenge myself and I'm going to do something different. And that's what I did. And a summer internship turned into a co-op throughout the school year in which I saw just how passionate this industry was and what it can become. So I think that each and every one of you can do something similar. I'm not saying to go out and work for a renewables company, but I'm saying make small choices. You can change a light bulb in your home. You can drive more efficiently. You can call up your senator or representative or your state senator, or city council member, and see what difference you can make. Because there's always something going on, always something which we can play a part in. So if we truly want to get to a sustainable energy future and be more efficient in what we do, and hopefully get to a world where our children and our children's children are better, safer, happier, then we need to take a step also. We need to come to the table as well. Thank you for your time, and I hope you guys enjoyed everything.